Hello and welcome to the Gamescast and welcome to another FSX flight. Today it's different. Did you hear that? I heard that. It's Reith.
It's me.
Now, normally we focus on kind of comedy gaming videos. However, today is completely different.
A bit more serious.
I'm literally going to teach Reith how to fly an FSX.
Yeah,
Quite
I haven't got a clue.
Reith at the moment doesn't even know how to work the flaps. Actually, no. To be fair, he probably could work the flaps.
Well,
but
he did tell.
He wouldn't be able.
Was it buttons 6 and 5?
Yeah, probably yes.
Obviously, that wouldn't be the same for our viewers, but
no. Button 6 and 5 is on his joystick because he's got his old joystick. I've got my yoke.
I've got your old joystick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today we're at Shoreham. In fact, we'll be hosting all our training lessons at Shoreham. It's currently 3:15.
Well, most of our training lessons. I thought you said you're going to do some like cold flying and stuff like that.
Yes, we will. But most of our training lessons,
yeah,
at least for the first couple of 2-3 episodes,
fair enough,
will be with Shoreham.
Yeah.
In Shoreham.
Sure.
I'm planning on episodes to be about 30 minutes to an hour long.
Yeah. I didn't really mind how long they are, just as long as they sort of.
So you can see we're at a pretty nice airport though. Shoreham does look quite nice. It's quite busy today. You can see a lot of different airplanes.
Can you see the same airplanes as me?
I suspect so. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, in front of you, is there like is it a green plane? Yeah, a plane with green back.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
So we should be able to see the same planes and stuff. On a land server, so hopefully there's like pretty much no lag.
Okay. Should I get back into the plane?
No. So what we're going to do first, before we do anything, we're just going to have a look at our maps. And yes, we are going to need to go inside the plane to look at the maps. So if you want to take the captain seat,
okay,
I'll be in the co-pilot seat for this.
Okay.
And then open up your Navigraph Echo Golf Kilo Alpha.
Yes.
Airport.
Which is the
Shoreham.
Shoreham.
It's an iCal for Shoreham.
Fair enough.
So our viewers watching, Reith will now probably put an edit.
Yeah, I'll edit it in.
And it'll hopefully look all good. You can see airport information, country, of course, UK. It's telling us that we're in Shoreham. It's telling us where we are on the globe.
Yeah,
this is useful if you're using a map. You can actually locate where it is on the globe. By looking at the sides and stuff of the map.
Yeah, I'm sure our viewers didn't come here for a geography lesson.
Precisely.
I think they probably know how to use coordinates.
It's telling us that it's 7 feet up in the air because we're on the coast. We're in Brighton. So we're 7 feet up in the air. It's telling us what kind of fuel we can use. We can either use jet fuel
for these prop aircrafts. Did you say you use AV
gas 100 LL? Yes.
Yeah, and that's the fuel you use in these aircraft. And
that's the fuel we're using. A Jet A1 is for jets.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a Category 2 airport, meaning that it's like a medium-small airport.
Fair enough.
It's a medium-small airport. It's not a super small airport. It does have air traffic.
Yeah. And then it gives you some information about the runways, I can see. Yes,
and what times it's open. So we can't. Yes.
Fair
today
enough.
We are able to stay until 7 PM, which is good. So
what day is it today?
It's a Thursday.
What did you say it to? Okay, Thursday.
It's a Thursday. It's Thursday the 9th of April. It tells us about the runways. Those distances are in meters, not feet. 960 meters.
Further on, you actually get a chart of a map of the whole airport, and then you've got O2, runway O2, and then it gives you its distance in meters and feet.
So runway O2 and runway 20, they're the same runway, is where we are going to be taking off and landing today. Yes, it's telling us on the top left. Can you say it says Shoreham TWR, Shoreham Tower? Top left, just underneath the edge.
Yes,
that's how we communicate. We will also go into that today as well.
Is that like a frequency?
That's a frequency to talk to air traffic control.
Fair enough.
It's a fairly small airport, so yeah. Now the ATIS Reith is the next, 125.3. That is how we will get our weather information. So we're tuned to ATIS, and it'll tell us, it'll tell us weather information.
So at the moment, it should be telling us that it's foggy.
Yes, it will say something like clouds, 500 meters scattered, something like that.
Fair enough.
again, it tells us opening times there, just next to that. And then it just basically tells us what it's already said at the top.
Just one question I've got already. Runway 02.
Yes.
At the top, it said runway length. It said takeoff length 960 meters.
Yeah.
Down here, I look at it, and it says it's 1,036 by 18 meters.
Where are you looking at this?
On the runway 02, down in the map.
Down in the map. Where have you seen this number, Reith?
The map on the side of the runway, where it says the length. Is that because the takeoff isn't the full length of the runway?
Yes, no, that's literally telling you the length of the runway.
Yeah, obviously you can't use the whole
so
runway.
So the calculation at the top is telling us from the nearest holding point. Now, a holding point is where you stay just before you get onto the airport.
Oh, so, you mean before you get onto the runway?
Yeah. So that's why it's actually different for runway 20 as well. You'll notice runway 20 and 2 they're the same runway.
Yeah.
But you'll notice they've got different meters. That is because runway 02 holding point is further away.
Where is the length for runway 20?
It's at the it should be the second one down. If you'll say
runway 20 916.
16, yeah.
Right, okay, sorry, I didn't look that far down the map.
Ideally, we want to use feet. We pretty much always, in aviation, we always use feet for everything.
God, imperial bastards.
I know. So yeah, we do use feet. So yeah, it's to cater for the Americans. Right, okay.
And I'm British and I don't understand feet. We have converted.
Today, we are currently at gate... I forgot what gate we're at.
You fucking said it.
I know, it's like gate 17 or something.
Hamish, you said... Okay, you did install Flight Commander for this reason, so that you wouldn't get lost.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, okay.
Can you tell from that?
Yeah.
It's Flight Commander. That's the thing that would. Can that?
We are at parking 13.
Parking 13. So
it's a general aviation small.
I'm looking at here.
Yeah. So
I can't tell.
What I can tell you now is that you've got Alpha 4 and Alpha 5. Now my Flight Sim Commander is actually slightly different because I haven't actually fully updated it. But we're actually at... can you see where Alpha 5 is?
Alpha is that A5?
Yes. Can you see where Alpha 5 is? We're sort of... we're kind of at where those greyed out buildings are. Just, can you see the sort of buildings? They look like a right angle. It's got an apron and a H.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just... we're above the fire station pretty much. And the terminal. And that's where we are currently.
Okay. Fair enough. So we're just north of the fire station.
Yes.
On the apron.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
In fact, Reith, I'm sorry. I tell a lie. I do. Oh no. Yes. No. That's where we are.
That's where we are.
That's where we are. Don't get confused, viewers.
Okay. So now we know where we are.
Now we need to read up about the airport. So we know our location. So we should, in theory, be able to taxi. Now it's a small airport.
Yeah.
So in theory, we should be able to taxi without any issues. We're going to sort of take Alpha 5 to Alpha 4 to Alpha 3 to Alpha 2 to Alpha 1, which is a holding point. You can see it's a holding point because it's got like a little E.
Oh, is that...
Can you see that?
Is the E, is that...
It's not actually E, point? It just happens to look like an E. That is a holding point.
Yeah, so that's a crossed E.
You can also see Bravo 2 and Bravo 1 are also holding points.
Yep. Okay.
So we will be taking a holding point at Alpha 1.
Yeah. Obviously, this is once I learn how to actually start an airplane.
Yes, exactly. Reith doesn't know how to do that yet. You can see it's in Europe because it's using EU Ops, European operations.
Where do we see this?
Takeoff minima. Minima.
Oh, is that further down?
Now.
No, hang on. Where is this?
This is just underneath the airport map.
Oh, EU Ops, yeah. Okay, I see it, yeah.
Now this is an extremely important piece because you'll notice it says runway 2 and 20.
Yeah, which is the one we're using.
And it's got nil, which is day.
Yeah.
Because we can't fly in the night at this airport, or we can't fly past 7 o'clock.
What does nil mean?
It's just referring to if you can land or not. So I'm not 100% sure. Would
so
it literally
if it said
translate
nil day and night?
Yes, it means you can land at day or night. Nil, day and night would have Heathrow, for example. Those
Fair
types
enough.
of airports.
Fair enough.
You can see it says AB, 500 metres. That means...
AB 500 metres.
You have to be able to see 500 metres ahead for you to be able to land. Now, of course, you can't literally... There's no sort of measurement, but you should be able to roughly recognise what 500 metres looks like.
Fair enough.
You should be able to see the runway that you're landing on, pretty much.
What's the one above it where it says Reddle and / or RCL?
That is... I'm not entirely sure, actually.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know what nil is. That's something I've seen a lot before.
Okay, so we don't really have to worry about the other.
No.
Okay,
The next bit's quite important. It's general information.
Okay.
Now, some of this stuff's just a bit boring. However, some things under 5, it says
weather after heavy rain, standing water may persist on grass areas.
Yeah. So in other words, after heavy rain, you're advised not to park on grass because your airplane may get bogged down.
Not to park at all on grass.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of pavement bits when they can always move it onto grass.
I'm just wondering, because I happen to know that this airport, because we've been sort of looking at it for quite a bit, the two of the runways, runway 07 and runway 13, they're grass runways.
Yes, they are.
So does that mean you can't land on those?
Yes, it would be advised not to after raining. So yes, you're correct. If you look at 6.1 and 6.2, so you can see runway 20 departures of over. When you're departing from runway 20, what means you're on heading
Avoid
of
overflying
200 roughly.
Yeah.
That it's telling us that there's built-up areas, so you need to try and avoid build-up areas. They're actually slightly to the south.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So if you think about 20, an extra, what is it? I think it's an extra 70 degrees, you'd be heading south. So it's just telling you some information there. It also tells you, it says, talks about restrictions and stuff.
Okay, yeah, carry on.
So yeah, you should be cautious when manoeuvring on hard surfaces, like you don't overspeed or something. You know, it's a small airport. You don't.
So a lot of this stuff is just like common sense sort of stuff.
Yes.
Like,
so
don't
for
go
example,
too quick on hard surfaces.
The speed limit, if you always stick to 25 knots, you should be fine. However, on such a small airport, you don't really want to be exceeding much from 10 knots when taxiing.
Fair enough.
So it's just telling us that, it doesn't actually say the speed limit, which I'm surprised. A lot of them do normally tell you what speed you can go, unless I've missed something.
Circuits, professionals, systems.
No, it doesn't.
Cautions. Yeah, I didn't see anything.
You'll also notice at the bottom in red it says this chart is a part of Navigraph NDAC and is intended for flight simulation use only. In other words, a couple of things may be slightly customised to cater for Flight Simulator.
Oh right, so
this is probably the chances are is that this is probably a real world chart where they've simply just
copied and pasted, but they might. But in reality, you can't just go like.
You can't assume. You would be. I'm sure you could use it.
So let's say for some reason it didn't say that there was built up areas to the south on here. Because they'd edited it out because it didn't happen to be on the flight simulator, but there was in real life. You can't use this in real life.
It just so happens that it does.
Okay, fair enough.
So we are now going to get into the plane.
Okay, so
or unless you're already into the plane.
Well, I am in the plane, obviously, but
because we're reading our charts now. At the moment, our plane is cold and dark. At the moment, nothing's functioning. So as to move my flaps, you can't actually hear or see the flaps move.
I can see.
You can see them move, but you can't hear them or see them. If you look out the window, you'll see that the flaps don't go down.
How do I look out the window?
Here
we go. Okay.
I've got them fully down, and they're obviously not moving.
They're not moving. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So that's basically telling us that there's no hydraulics or anything like that.
Okay.
Also, guys, if you're wondering, we've got an absolute ton of add-ons. Luckily, all my add-ons, I'm able to use them on Reith's computer as well, and they haven't like flagged me up or anything. There's all the normal add-ons you've just got tons. I may make a list at some point and put them in the video or whatever.
Yeah. So how do I start this?
So let's start off by starting up the airplane. Now, hopefully, you have an easy dock camera. If you don't, just manoeuvre your way to the sort of bottom panel, and I will go through left to right, which each piece does.
Back passenger. I am instrument panel, radio stack. Okay, here we go. I can see like the stuff.
Now
I can see the stuff. Right. What do I click?
The first thing is you've got on the left you have your ignition switch.
Is that the big black one?
Oh no, are we looking at the same thing?
I don't know. Let me just check the same thing.
Oh right, no. Go literally bottom right hand corner.
Right here. Yes.
So on the left hand side you'll see we have our ignition switch.
Yes, the master thing.
Yes. You've got the master switch, you've got your fuel pump, a beacon light, a landing light, a taxi light.
Whoopsie.
That's fine. You would have heard. So when you turn on the master switch, it brings hydraulic power to the airplane.
Yes, indeed it does.
You've also got another master switch. You need both of them on. They're both important.
Okay, so should I put them both on now?
No.
No.
First of all, we're going to put the fuel pump on.
Fuel pump?
It's currently in the off position.
How do I switch that on?
Just click it. Should just be able to hover over it and click it.
I'm trying. Oh, I've got it. Yeah.
No, that was me.
Right, that isn't me. I cannot do that. Why can't I do that, Hamish?
Go slightly further down. I don't know.
That's doesn't appear to be. Oh,
there you go.
That works.
Yeah, it just happened to be.
Easy dock just wasn't.
It's just about the click spots. So we've got the fuel pump on. We want the beacon lights on.
Is that the BCN?
Yeah, BCN. Sorry, beacon lights. That sends a signal now to air traffic control, so they can now see our location.
They can see us.
Yeah. We don't need our landing lights, but we will need our taxi lights later on. So turn those off.
Turn those off.
It's a little bit foggy, so we're going to turn our strobe lights on and turn on the pilot heat. That's our heating.
Okay, now, so we're nice and warm now.
Yes.
What do the strobe lights do?
The strobe lights, they're outside lights.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it's slightly foggy. We will also turn off our fuel pump after we've actually started up the airplane. Now, if you want to click the master switch...
Why do we turn the fuel pump off after we switch off the airplane?
Because we don't need fuel pumping. It's just to get it pumping so we can get fuel to the engine for the initial
Oh right, but once it's started it will pump.
As soon as the engine started we can turn that switch off.
Okay, so now I click both switches.
Yeah, click the left and the right.
Okay.
And click the master, the other master one. Hopefully you should.
The big master one.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Right, so the next thing is this red lever here.
Is that the red lever next to the black lever?
Yes, you'll notice it's out.
It says what?
The red lever next to it. You'll notice it's like fully out.
Yes.
If you drag and click that in fully.
Okay.
That's a fuel mixture. So if I move it to here, at the moment we've got about 50% fuel mixture. In other words,
with what?
So 50% power, 50% of the fuel is going to the engines. Then if you have it fully in, 100% is. So if you want to fly more efficiently, you use a 90% fuel mixture.
Fair enough.
And then the black switch is the throttle. You'll notice now, if I change the flaps, you can actually hear, and you'll be able to see them if you look out the window.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother looking out the window. We can look at that later.
Right. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to start it up.
Okay. So, how do we do that?
Go to the ignition key.
The ignition key.
Yep.
Oh, is that the one on the left?
Yep.
Yeah.
And rotate your mouse away from you, and it should turn it up to start.
Rotate my mouse away from me. Here we go.
Put it on start.
Start. Okay, that sounds positive.
I'm just going to pull out the parking brakes.
Yeah, that's now parking brake.
Turn off the fuel pump.
Turn off the fuel pump.
Hopefully the engine doesn't stop. No, it's not.
Okay,
now,
no, it hasn't.
I'm just going to
Okay, so I go back into the pilot view now then?
Yeah, you can go back into the pilot view now.
Back into pilot view, co-pilot.
Right.
Back seats, pilot view. Here we go. Okay, so I can see the rotor turning.
But just put about a fraction amount of power. We have the parking brakes on, so it's not going to set off.
Does that push it in or pull it out?
Oh no, the power. Just use your lever on your yoke.
Okay, yeah. You don't appear to be going anywhere.
Good. Okay, now put it back to idle. It's all to do with pre-flight checks, just to check that the engine. Now,
check the engine.
We're going to have a look at the aircraft dials, the most important parts of flying.
Dial, okay. Is that the one in front of me?
Yeah, no, all the so the
stuff.
PFD is what we call it.
Which is
PFC, sorry, primary flight.
Control.
No, PFD, a primary flight display.
Yeah, and is that the stuff in front of me? Like
that's all the stuff. So the things, the altitude. Yeah, you know roughly what it looks like.
Okay, so I could switch to that quickly, like that. Okay, so I'm looking right at it now.
So you can see, Reith. It's got a couple of things. First thing is 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
That is out of the temperature. Now I'm not
So we're still in Imperial. Okay.
Yes, we are. Oh well, not the end of the world.
So if it was to go, is that the outside temperature or the inside?
Outside, yes, that is the outside temperature.
Okay.
You would use that for anti-ice. So when it's cold and icy, you turn on anti-ice on the aircraft wings, and that stops the wings from freezing up. And it means that when you take off and land, there's a little bit more friction, because with ice, what tends to happen is, apart from it weighing down the plane, it actually makes it much harder to take off and land, because all the sort of systems are a little bit more frozen.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it just depending on the temperature.
But me not knowing Imperial, 48 degrees Fahrenheit, is that freezing?
No, that isn't. Let me just.
What's that, like 10 degrees Celsius or something like that? I'm pretty sure 30, isn't that freezing?
Something like that. Let me find out. Fahrenheit 48.
There isn't any
8
way.
degrees, 8.8, which is probably realistic.
Yeah, I
suspect it is about 8.8. It's also
there's no way of turning it to metric.
There probably is in the settings of Flight Sim.
Okay, I can't bother.
You'll notice what the time is currently 3:38:08, and it just so happens that it is.
Where is the time on
just
here?
underneath the Fahrenheit.
Oh yes.
Now also we can make a timer. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's just gone to.
I've clicked select.
Select.
So you click select, and click select again. Now if you click control, you'll notice it starts timing up.
1, 2, 3.
That is when we're doing VOR flying.
Oh, so 5 minutes after you pass
5 minutes turn
the church, go to this electric.
Precisely.
Fair enough.
If you press that once, it'll reset itself.
And then I go to select and it goes back to the time.
Or if you hang on, let me check. Can you? Okay. Yes.
Could just leave it.
So you press control once to stop, once to reset.
Okay, sounds easy enough.
Also, if you want, you can have it saying 3:38 if you press control when you're on the timer.
Right. I would prefer that, to be honest, because I know it's afternoon.
Also, it tells us what voltage we're producing.
Fair enough.
I'm not entirely sure why you need that.
I guess if your engine's not producing any power, you could like lose energy or something.
So underneath those dials, we've got a set of 4 dials. We've got different oil temperatures. We've got the amps, how many amps we're using. We don't really need to use those.
Okay.
So
you don't really need to know
things
about.
on the right, we don't really need to know about too much.
You mean things on the left?
No, on the right. Fuel is very important, because it tells us at the moment that we've got 260 kilos of fuel. Is that kilos or gallons? Gallons, sorry.
Where are we looking at this?
Just underneath your clock.
Just underneath the clock.
Is there fuel on the left?
Yeah, it says fuel.
Yeah.
And I see 26 underneath the fuel.
26 gallons that is. That how much is that in English? I think that's about 190-ish
litres.
Kilo. Yes. We always do fuels in kilos, because in litres the fuel changes for the amount of volume.
Fair enough. So it says right and left. What's the difference?
You've got a left fuel tank and a right fuel tank.
Fair
so
enough,
we've got 260.
So you should have the same in both.
Yes.
Can you have one in less than the other, and then you'd be off balance?
Now, I'm not entirely sure if this plane does have this option. I'll quickly take a look around the cabin. But in case of an engine fire, you would put your fuel from your right engine to your left engine.
Yeah.
Now,
obviously, we only have one.
We have one, so I don't. I don't think we can change. Or in case of a fuel leak, you can always,
pump it off.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so then we've got airspeed. I see.
Yeah. Indicated airspeed. Now, this is quite an interesting one, although it doesn't sound interesting.
Is that the one with the multiple colours?
Yes. Yeah. So, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
The green is good, the yellow is not good.
If you
the
get
yellow
to the red,
means you're going overspeed normally.
Yeah.
Overspeed for the aircraft. Not overspeed for general aviation rules.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Underneath, you have got your
DC electric.
Yes, DC elect. Now, what that is, that's pretty much exactly the same as your horizon altimeter.
And what does that do?
Now, the left and the right, you'll notice that the left and right is actually 30 degrees. You should never really rotate the plane more than 30 degrees left or right.
Okay.
So that tells you how much you're rotating. Because in a Cessna, you lose your sense of vision. Sense of vision? No, what is it? It's your spatial awareness. You lose some spatial awareness.
Yeah.
Especially in clouds, you wouldn't be able to recognise it if you're upside down or whatever.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Okay, so next, what do we have? Vacuum. What's that?
So, where...
Is that the compass? Looks like a compass.
Yes, oh right, okay. Vacuum? Where have you got vacuum from?
Underneath the compass it says VACUUM.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh right, that's who it's made by.
Okay, right.
That's who it's made by. Unbelievable.
Like when I first looked at it, I didn't realise
vacuum,
it was...
what?
When I looked at it, I didn't realise it was a compass. I was like, is that like for air pressure or something?
So yes, that is our compass.
Okay.
You'll notice those. Have you noticed that it already says 21, 24, 30, 33? What could you associate that with?
Like direction, isn't it?
Runway.
Or heading. Oh, wow.
Have you ever noticed all those numbers would you never get a runway which is, I don't know, 16.
I've never looked at the runway, so.
But have you noticed though? You'll notice that it shows basically all the normal runways. I mean, you can get a 25.
Right.
So it's telling you that that's 240.
So 25 would be southwest.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, so it just so happens that they calculate runways every 3. So if you were to do the 3 times table, 3, 6, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again 24, 21, 24.
Yeah.
It also shows you southwest, north, and east.
Okay.
The next bit is quite important.
Yeah.
So slightly up from that, you can't. It's called the altimeter.
The horizon thing you've got
No, not above that. It's to the right of the horizon meter, and it has 1 to 9.
Yes. Okay. I see.
Now
this one here.
Now 1 to 9 is the feet you're at. So if I do that, we're currently at 100 feet. I'm just going to reset that.
Hang on. How do you know we're at 100 feet?
Oh, can you see? There, it now says 100.
No, it says 31.2.
Oh right, no, I'm actually talking about literally the dial. It says 1. So it looks like 1 o'clock.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. 1
Now
o'clock,
I'm going to press B on my keyboard, and that sets it to what it should be. Now, when air traffic control talk to you, we'll get this in the ATIS. It'll say altimeter. It will tell you what to set your altimeter to. So the reason being is because different temperatures, different weather conditions make the altimeter change that number.
Oh right, so you need to adjust. You need to.
So air traffic control will tell you what to adjust it to, and you also have it at different heights. So for example, you have one at 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. After 20,000, it's normally the same.
So if you're at 20,000 feet, your altimeter won't tell you you're at 20,000 feet. What? Hold on.
you set your altimeter to cater for that. So air traffic control will say set your altimeter 30.5, or it's actually 30.35 or something. We've only got one decimal. Normally you'd have 2 in a Boeing or a larger commercial.
So you'd set it to that?
Yeah, something like that. Okay, but if you press B, that's what it should be for this airport. You'll also notice you can turn it the other way and
go down. Okay.
Precisely. And you probably got a message popping up saying your altimeter is incorrectly set.
No.
On Flight Sim, does it not say if I do this? It should come up in a second that it's telling you that your altimeter is incorrectly set.
Where would I see this?
It just says it clearly doesn't say on yours, which is fine.
Okay, fair enough.
But the thing under that is your vertical speed.
Yes. Okay.
5 is 500, 1 is 1000.
Yeah.
And it's telling you how many feet per minute you're doing, and it says 100 feet per minute, per 100 feet per minute. And it also goes to the extreme of 2, so 2000 and 1500. Yeah?
So that's increasing or decreasing speed? So
means you're going upwards by 1500 feet a minute.
Yeah.
If it's going down, it means you're going downwards 1500 feet per minute.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I got it.
The next, there is also another compass. It is a backup compass. There's another 2 compasses, backup compasses. However, these, you'll notice it says nav and GS.
GS, and I can't see the bottom one saying nav.
No,
I see.
The bottom one's a different thing altogether.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
That is for when you'll see above that there's a nav and GPS. GS stands for GPS. Nav is for VOR flying.
Okay.
Sorry.
What?
Nav is for manual flying, like ILS landings, that kind of thing.
Right.
GPS is for planned flying. When we're using radios, we'll be using the GPS, and we'll be using the GPS to navigate to different VOR beacons. We're not going to do that in today's flight, so we're just going to keep it on nav.
Fair enough.
So the next bit is the bits which sort of tell you more. They're your communication radios.
Okay, so I shall switch to that screen. Okay, here we go.
Now, you've got various things. So the first one is your COM one and your radio one, and nav one. Sorry. Communication. Yeah. COM stands for communication. Nav stands for navigation. It's fairly self-explanatory.
Okay.
And then you've got COM2 and COM1 and nav2. So, for example,
COM2 and nav2.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason being so you can switch between 1 and 2 very quickly. So in effect, you've got 4.
So I
COM and nav.
Click that.
It changes to your navs. So you would never have all of them at the same time. Okay. So if we just take all those off, you'd never have all of them at the same time. You'd either have COM1 or COM2, and then you have either nav1 or nav2. Okay.
Oh right. So if you're talking, so COM1 is at this top one.
Yes.
And then you.
It says next to it. It says COM1.
Oh yeah. And then so if we go down on, how do you know which one nav is?
It says on the right hand side. It says nav1. Oh, nav.
No, it doesn't.
Oh right. So
it does.
nav.
Oh yeah, it does. Nav1
is always a lower number than communication. So you'll notice nav goes up to, what does it nav go up to? It goes up to 117, I think. Yeah, 117.95. And it goes down to 107, I think? 108, sorry. So there's what? There's, in effect, there's like 10 frequencies.
117.9.
Also, Reith, you will notice you can only do... you've got 2 nav and comms, so you've got... Can you see 28.25? That's on the right. Yes? 128.25 on the top communication.
Yes.
Radio.
Yeah.
Now you can only change that one. You can't change the left one. That is because you can only change the standby frequency.
What's the standby frequency?
Standby. It means it's not active. The one on the left is the active one. The one on the right is a standby one. The reason you can't change the active one is because if you were to accidentally knock it, it means the airplane could go a completely different direction to what you want to go, and then you'll unfortunately get lost.
Right.
So that's why you can't actually change the left one, but you can change the left one. So if I press this little arrow key, the 2 little arrow keys, you'll notice it changes to what you've set. So you just change the active one. Yeah.
Alright, so you change the standby one, and then you set that to be the active one.
Yeah. Now, what I want you to do, if I want you to tune the standby radio to 125.3.
125, and what's that?
That is ETIS.
Oh, was that for and that's air traffic control for this?
Yes.
airport?
Right, now
125.3.
Yes. Yeah, 3.
And then set.
Yep.
Okay,
not set.
Report information Golf 14510 Zulu.
Okay, I can hear that.
162 at Warp. Visibility half mile. Sky
I don't know what they're trying to tell me, but
broken. Temperature 9.2.8. Altimeter 3030. NDB. Runway 20 in use.
okay,
Landing and
can you
departing
tell me
runway
what
20
they're trying to
in
tell
runway
me?
20 left.
Because I don't
All
understand
aircraft
what
read
they're
back
saying.
short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You had Golf. Shore airport information Golf 14510 Zulu. Wind 162 at Warp. Visibility half mile. Sky condition. Ceiling 100 broken. Temperature 9.2.8. Altimeter 3030. NDB. Runway 20 in use. Landing and departing runway 20 in runway 20 left. All aircraft read back short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Golf. Shore airport information Golf.
Now,
Okay, what did they say?
so he was saying. Now you would have heard loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Now that is the weather, all the airport's information. In fact, it is the whole airport. This airport doesn't have different frequencies for ATIS and stuff. So we've got one control doing everything. So you may have heard it said information golf at the beginning. Okay, listen carefully.
Shore airport information hotel 1452.
Shore airport information golf. Listen again.
Rope in use. Landing and departing runway 20 in runway 20 left. All aircraft read back short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have hotel.
Listen.
What am I listening for?
So ready? Listen in 3, 2, 1. Just listen carefully.
Shore airport information hotel 1452 Zulu.
Hotel.
Wind 16.
Oh, hotel for you. Oh, that's odd. It says golf for me. Okay, right. Okay, I apologise. Right.
Right, okay. Are we hearing different
That's obviously a slightly different thing. Everything, all the other information will be exactly the same. It's telling us information is golf. So on initial contact, we say Cessna 172 Golf 976 or whatever our call sign is.
But I was hearing a different thing.
Yes, that's fine.
Is that because we are...
Yes, that is obviously just a slight game bug.
Right, fair enough.
That's fine though. We'll just use we normally just use a host thing.
Yeah.
But it said hotel for you, so we say we have information hotel. It means that we have the information they've said. We don't need to say everything what they've said to us. We just say we have information hotel.
Okay.
It means we've heard what they've said. It's normally golf, hotel, foxtrot. Yeah.
So if you weren't to hear them, and you need, what do you say?
They're telling you
information.
you tell them. Assure them to please repeat the ATIS information. Now you would have heard a couple of other things. So now I'm not sure how hard you were listening because they said it quite quietly and quickly, but the wind is at 162 at something like 5 knots or something.
Right. Okay.
So it means that is the wind, but also means that we're using. You always take off into the wind. It means we're using runway 2. They did say that that is a departing runway. Did you hear that?
Runway 2. I heard something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So 02 is the runway we're taking off because the wind is at 162. That's closer to that. It means we've got a headwind, what's closer to 20 degrees rather than 200 degrees. Do you understand?
Sorry, what?
So the wind is. Yours take off into the wind.
Yeah.
That means that 162 means that you have a wind coming towards you if you're facing at 24 degrees or 02 0 degrees, yes? So if we were to be on a... Okay, if there's a runway 16, let's say.
And what does that mean?
That's on a runway 16 mean its bearing is 160, correct?
If you say so.
Yeah? So that means if we had a wind of 162, it means we'd have a tailwind. Yes?
Yeah. So you wouldn't take off from that.
So you wouldn't take off. So you take off what the opposite of 160, which is what, 80 or something? Something like that?
Yeah, maybe. It would be no.
It'd be,
162 would be only 200.
We'd be taking off runway 0, let's say.
Just below that.
Yeah.
So or just like above that. So 200 and something, wouldn't it?
You may also have heard that it said altimeter 3030. Altimeter. Do you remember that number? Yeah.
And that's the one we got it set to now.
It said.
Doesn't that set automatically though when you press B?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so that because that's.
But if you didn't want to do it manually, that's what you'd set. You would have said visibility is 1.5 miles.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And you would have heard he said broken clouds. It means that there are clouds, but they're scattered or they're broken. So they're not all one big cloud. They're like a bit here, a bit here, a bit here. Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
That pretty much is the ATIS.
Yeah.
Right. So the next bit.
Out of that, pretty much all I needed to know for the moment is that we're taking off from runway 2.
02.
02.
And the wind is at. You can't. All of that information I would class as important, but yes.
Yeah. But at the moment, all I need to know is that we're taking off from runway 2 because everything else is set up correctly.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so the next bit is the ADF. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what it does. I've never used it.
What's ADF?
The ADF is at 02840.
What are we looking at here? 02840. Okay, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what it does. I will look into it because I know commercial planes also have that. It's one of the sort of the autopilot systems they share.
But you've never had to use it.
I've never had to use it, so I've never learned what it is.
Yeah.
The next bit is nautical miles and knots.
Yeah.
That is if we are doing VOR flying, or the DME, it's also known as.
Okay.
That's if we're doing VOR flying. It tells us how far away our beacon.
VOR is visible.
No. It doesn't stand for. Well, it probably does stand for anything. I just know it as VOR flying. VOR flying means that you're sending you're going towards a beacon which has a signal, and you're going towards that beacon. Remember,
right. So VOR is like autopilot.
Yeah, it's the most automated you would be able to get on this plane. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
And it will tell you what speed you're going and how far away the actual beacon is, your destination. So that's how you work out how far something is in the plane. The next one's very important, a lot more important than people understand. It's called a transponder. Now, so you will see that your transponder.
It says 1200.
Yes, exactly. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to program it for VFR flying, Visual Flight Rules. That's standing for.
Okay, Visual Flight Rules.
Now, what I want you to do, Reith, is set it to 0021.
0021.
Now,
and what does that
That
mean?
is telling us. Now, I had to look this up. So, you need to know your transponder codes for certain. ATC will also tell you what to set your transponder codes to when you take off. But a transponder code in this case.
In that information they would have said 0021.
Yeah. So
was it 0021 or 0012?
21. They didn't tell us in the ATIS. They don't tell you that.
I thought you just said they would tell you the ATIS.
No, not in the ATIS. When you communicate with air traffic control to ask for taxi and departure and that sort of stuff. When you ask for startup,
they won't tell you that.
They will tell you then what your transponder should be, but they will also tell you what your altimeter should be set to. That was a 30.30.
And that's the ATIS. It's telling us that.
But yeah, so they kind of repeat some of that.
Okay.
When you ask to start up. Online they do on IVEO. Now 021. Now this is telling any air traffic control. They have 4 readings of your plane. 5. They have your call sign.
Yeah.
They have your altitude.
Yeah.
They have your speed, and they have your transponder number.
And so that's telling us
that is telling them instantly that we're on a small plane flying at below 5,000 feet. So we're not going to exceed 5,000 feet today.
What? And how do they know we're flying below? Because they know your altitude.
Yes.
But
they don't need to. Let's say you can turn. The thing is that you can turn off things like your altitude and things like that. You can't turn off your I think no. I'm sorry. No, I apologise. You can turn off your transponder. But if you were to have your transponder on and another part of the aircraft failed, like your altitude reading, it means that at least with their transponder they know that you're doing visual flight rules. So they don't need to necessarily know your altitude, but they do know you're below 5,000 feet in this altitude, in this transponder reading. Do you understand that?
No.
Okay.
What's the transponder reading? Because it says 0021.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
There's tons of transponder codes. Let me just tell you.
But what does 0021 mean?
It means that VFR sport code for airspace 5,000 feet and below. Okay?
Oh right, so it's telling us it's telling them that we're 5,000 feet or below.
Yes.
But if we went above 5,000 feet, they wouldn't know. Obviously you're not meant to, but theoretically.
Theoretically, no, they probably wouldn't. A transponder is telling them our intentions. Yeah, it's telling them our intentions.
Yeah.
However, in Germany, it just so happens that it means that the same code is used, but 7,000. Don't ask me why. I just know.
So
that.
you'd have to say it to 7,000.
Yes.
And so it'd have to be.
But different countries also have different codes.
Yeah.
The code of 0000 is what we would call Mode A. It's
Mode A.
It's just called Mode A. It's different airspace heights and stuff.
Different airspace.
So there's 3 airspace heights. You see, there's a category A, there's category B, and category C. Different planes can fly in different categories. Category C is for your commercial planes. Category A is what we are. We're a small general aviation plane. But yeah, there are tons and tons of different different squawk codes.
Okay.
And I'm reading this off the internet because I don't know these off by heart. A squawk code 7700 is an emergency.
700?
Yes.
That's only 3 digits.
No, 7700.
Oh, 7700.
That's an emergency. That's that is like engine failure, for example.
Yeah. So you type in 7700.
Yes.
And would you then call air traffic control, or would they call you because they can see it's 7700?
Yes, they all call you. Now, 7700 means you can talk to air traffic control. If you were to put 7600, it means you have radio failure. So not an emergency, but you do have a radio failure.
Right, okay.
Now, I'm not entirely sure what happens.
What happens if you have an engine failure and a radio failure? You're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much fucked.
Right, okay.
I have no idea, if I'm going to be honest. I've never had that issue.
Both at the same time.
A squawk code you may have heard of is 7,500. That is aircraft hijacking. So, of course, you use aircraft hijacking.
So, if you're having an aircraft hijacking, you type into this transponder 7,500.
Yeah.
And air traffic control, you would know your plane is hijacked.
Yeah. The 7,000 is often used for
emergencies.
No, that's not the case at all. It's often used for lesser likely events, I suppose you could say.
Oh, right.
Military flying, but France, however, they use a VFR of 7,001. But you know this because you should be. I mean, you don't need to memorise any of these, because you can just simply look on the internet, look at charts, what you know.
Right. Okay.
Different countries have different squawk codes as well.
So in England, 0021 means you're flying.
Precisely.
Does it mean you're flying a light aircraft under 5,000 feet, or just any aircraft?
No, light aircraft. you're not going to be flying a Boeing at 5,000 feet for visual flight rules. So,
but if you are, what would happen if you set up Boeing's transponder to 0021?
The air traffic control would get in contact with you and ask why that's your transponder. It may be that you've accidentally set it wrong. The chances are that happens, because there's no reason for you to do that. But also it tells you if we're in the UK and we're travelling to France and our transponder code is 0022, it means that we're flying above 5,000 feet and we go into France. They instantly know that because that's our squawk code, we're from the UK, because France have a different transponder code.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's 7,077 digits they can use. So
we have our whole set of squawk codes, and they have their whole set of squawk codes.
It all comes over,
but none of them overlap.
Yes.
So no French squawk codes would be 0021 or 0022.
No. Possibly, I'm not sure. I don't know. If I'm honest, I haven't done that. The only time I've really flown into France is when I've been flying into Paris, but that's been in a commercial jet.
Right.
So yeah. So if I'm honest, we're going to the more systems and the controls of the aircraft. Next episode, I'd say that's an episode, or that is a training lesson. We haven't done any flying at all.
Just learn how to turn the plane on and what all the dials do.
Precisely.
What's the one underneath the thing we've been looking at for the last
transponder?
The transponder. What's the thing underneath that? It says altitude
and vertical speed.
Yeah.
So, sorry. So I'm going to turn autopilot on. You can see it lights up in green or yellow.
AP. Yeah.
Yeah. But if I turn it off, you hear that beep telling us that we've turned it off.
Yeah.
Heading means that we're going on a heading select, and you set your heading select. This is more to do with the next episode, but you set your heading select on your compass. Yeah. Remember, it was a thing underneath a vertical horizon meter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a compass. You see, there's a little red, a reddy orange type thing. But I'm moving now.
Nope.
Can you see that?
Where are we looking here?
In the compass. Where it says vacuum.
Compass where it says vacuum. Ah, yes.
Yeah?
No.
Now that's our heading. No?
Where are we looking? Oh.
Let me show you.
I can't remember where the vacuum thing was.
Oh, you can't see it. There.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah? So that's our heading.
Oh, I see. Right. So the heading. Oh, you can change that. So this. So if you turn this.
Yeah.
And then click the heading button on this thing underneath the
it's now on autopilot heading.
So it's heading on that direction?
Yes.
Is it trying to do that right now? So will the rudder
technically,
be
yes. Let's have a look. Yes, I think it is.
Hold on, let's have a look.
You can see, just by looking out the window, that it's clearly trying to turn. Oh no, is that just flaps? Let me just be flaps. Flaps are up.
Yeah, okay, I can see the rudder though.
Yeah?
And is the rudder...
So if I turn off... Also, Reith, you'll notice that...
I can't tell, the rudder isn't moving at all.
Sorry, Reith, if you look slightly beneath...
the
throttle controls and stuff...
Sorry, I was outside the plane. If I look underneath the throttle control, yeah.
There's a little black thing, and it looks like it's got lots of little black dot things onto it. And it's moving slightly.
Yes.
Now that is because it's trying to get us onto an altitude of 0 feet. That is called the trim. Again, I will talk to you about that during takeoff. We turn off the autopilot.
Okay.
And that's it really. Then you can set your altitude. It also has an approach. I've never tried it though. I've only ever landed this manually. So I've never used the approach before.
You've never had it, okay.
No. The up and down arrow, the up and down, they allow you to set your altitudes and stuff.
Why is it still trying to get us onto a altitude of 0, 0, 0, 0?
Because I didn't turn off autopilot.
That explains it.
So that is it for this episode. I'll talk more about the radios
and such next
and
episode.
things like that. Another thing we may want to do, if it actually allows us to do it, is... No, it doesn't. Okay. If you look on to the right, where the flaps are, there's two things. There's a cabin air. There's a thing that says cabin air pull.
Where are we looking here?
Just to the right of the flaps.
Down. Oh, down. Yeah, cabin air cabin HT pull on.
We only need to look at cabin air. You would normally turn that on. It's automatically on. This default plane hasn't simulated that.
Okay. Oh, so you can't actually... Can you change
So, no, we can't actually do that.
Oh, so it doesn't...
so that should give you a good, detailed on sort of thing. Now, you may be wanting to know about the fuel pump. You heard the engine's just turned off.
Yeah. Why did it turn off?
Now.
Why did the engines turn off?
That's fine. What I will do, quickly...
I was just wondering why the engines turned off.
Because I turned them off.
Oh, right, fair enough.
I'll do. Turn it back on. So, now, if you go to where the trim is, where I told you...
The trim...
And you go down, there's a thing at the very bottom, a little red thing that's called fuel.
Fuel on, pull.
Yeah? Now, push that button once, or click it or something. Now, it means it's cut off fuel. It's different to the engine mixture. The engine mixture controls how much fuel is going to the plane. It kind of does a similar thing. That's more for emergencies. If for whatever reason you have to turn off the fuel, engine fire, a bird strike, the propeller could be damaged. You want to press that button, it means fuel just will not go to the airplane. It's also quite difficult to hit that button. It's quite easy to hit the fuel mixture button.
Fair enough.
So now the airplane is on, but there's no fuel. So everything in the airplane is working as normal. Try and turn your yoke left and right, or rudder.
My joystick.
Yeah,
so that
everything's still working.
Fair enough.
That is the end of this episode.
Okay.
So, hopefully, Reith's editing will do it some justice.
I hope so.
It's a little bit boring, because it was just the first episode.
Yeah, but I guess if
But
you're
you know a lot more about the plane
out,
than you did. This series is meant for people starting out.
Yeah.
However, by episode maybe 20-ish, hopefully we'll be looking at some jets, and then that will be far more complicated. We'll be talking about SIDS and stars. We're talking about approaches, transition altitudes, how to operate an FMC, and of course you probably don't know what any of that is yet, apart from what I told you of a small amount yesterday.
I don't know what FMC is. I still can't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we will talk about that more later on. Also, one other thing which is fairly important about this airplane is you can see that those two red lights are on at the moment. Oil pressure, volts, and V. Can you see that?
Yeah. LVAC are oil press volts.
They are the what are they? They're the warning. What are they? If you tell
Warnings.
me, they're the warning. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh right. So
another thing. Cool.
Is that saying they're not on or something?
Yeah. What heading are we at the moment?
Heading. We are at.
You don't know. That's fine. No, that's fine. It's a bit of a trick question.
Is that we?
Can you see that we're heading at a heading of 024? It shows us just where if you look out our front window, just where the propeller is.
Our front. Fuck. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's our heading. Our current heading.
Is that 024?
No, that's 240.
240 because you said 024.
Precisely.
Okay. It also says that down on the VAC thing. I was going to read that off and then.
Off the where? Sorry.
Off the I called it the VAC thing because that's who make it.
Oh, I see. Yes, it also says the same thing there.
Is that like the compass, the heading?
But it's slightly more confusing, that one, is because that's it shows a 360. So it actually looks like we're in a different. Have you noticed that the west is on the other side?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? So this is more. It's easier to read that one. So it's pretty useful for flying and stuff.
Okay.
But the thing is that you would use that compass for flying without any instruments. So you'd use it without using any autopilot systems.
Mm-hmm. But you want to use the console one for if you are flying with instruments.
Yeah, precisely.
Because I mean that sets your heading, doesn't it? So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. So end the episode there.
Yeah. Also, Reith, one other thing.
One last thing.
You may notice that the temperature has been updated to 49 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's a little bit warmer now.
I noticed that on my screen it hasn't, but if you say so.
Oh, right, for me. 50 degrees Celsius it now says for me. Or Fahrenheit. Does that?
It says 48 for me.
Okay, click the select button.
Click the select.
No, sorry, click the volts and date button, sorry.
Volts and date?
Volts. Yeah.
Where are we looking?
The volts. Click the volts button, the top one.
Top.
Of that little clock.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Click it again. How many volts is it saying it's producing?
21.3.
It says the same for me.
Yeah, and then it still says 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's telling me that it's 51 degrees Fahrenheit now. That's fair enough.
Okay, just a slight.
It's a little bit different. It's probably because you haven't got your weather on real world, and I have.
Yeah, maybe.
We have got FSUIPC as well installed, and if you click on the add-ons bit, Reith, you'll notice it says FSUIPC on FSX. Go to the top bar add-ons. FSUIPC. It shows you what you have
Top
installed.
bar
I hope so.
It says FSUIPC.
And it should say EasyDock as well.
EasyDock camera add-on.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Guys,
Fair enough. Anyway.
hopefully you found that interesting if you're starting out to fly, and you know a bit more about the aircraft.
Yeah, I certainly do.
Honestly, I'd rather you watch these videos and hopefully learn something rather than kind of watch these videos and not learn anything. So if you know
like and
this stuff,
subscribe if you've watched all the way through. I mean, clearly have had some use if you've watched all, like, however long this is.
in pretty much an hour. It's an hour training session. We'll be doing another training session today, but not straight after this one.
Okay.
And that will be... Yeah, well done, Reith.
So now I turn the fuel pump off.
Does it say the altimeter setting correctly? Or did it?
No, I don't think so.
That's fine.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is the altimeter setting correctly?
No, I don't think I've just set it now.
Yeah. It has changed though to 30.2.
That is because of temperature change.
Ah, right.
So because of
I've seen the temperature change as well.
Oh, what is it now?
50.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, is that maybe it was because we hadn't had the aircraft turned on or something?
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe it restarted when I turned the
So there you go.
There we go.
That's an example of what I was trying to say earlier about the temperature. Temperature changes your altitudes and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, next episode, I hope we will be talking about taxiing and sort of the rules of the airport.
Get a bit of fun.
Exactly. We'll be able to do a flight as well. I'll tell you how to use a parking brake.
I do actually know. 7. Yay!
Oh, done, Reith. You use the parking brake.
You see, I can use the parking brake.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much for watching.